Hello everyone, it's pie day. I have 4 pie recipes for you, perfect for Thanksgiving. It is our absolute favorites, so I hope you enjoy them. Here we go. Today I'm going to show you how to make a no-bake, 5-ingredient, creamy chocolate pie. Okay, let's start counting the ingredients. Number 1 is your all-ready pie crust. I got the chocolate flavor right here. There's lots of different flavors that you can use for the pie crust for this chocolate pie. The second ingredient is chocolate instant pudding, and this is the dry mix. These are 2 boxes and they're each 3.9 ounce size. So we're going to put them both into a large bowl. Our third ingredient, 1 3/4 cup of cold milk. I'm using a 2% milk. If you want to use whole milk, that's totally fine. I wouldn't go any lower than 2% though, it'll be really runny. We're going to add that to our pudding. Okay, if you have a handy dandy whisk, you can whisk this until you get to a pudding consistency. Now that's if you have some time, and also if you want an arm workout. That's going to take some time. Or you can use your electric hand mixer and beat it with that until it gets nice and thick and creamy like a pudding. Okay, that is really thick. Perfect. All right, we're going to put half of the pudding mixture into the pie. We're going to smooth this out evenly. All right, we're going to set this aside and start our second layer. All right, we got half of the pudding still left over. So what we're going to do is put 4 ounces of a whipped topping, or you can use Cool Whip, which I'm going to use because it's easy, and that's one of our ingredients. So this is a huge tub of this, about 16 ounces, so I'm going to go in about 1/4 of the container here. Oh, it's nice. Make sure that it is thawed out, nice and creamy, because you want it to blend in with your pudding. Y'all, there's a lot of spoon and bowl licking involved in this video. All right, let's mix this all in. You want to combine this together until it's nice and smooth. All right, let's bring our pie back over here. We're going to pour that mixture on top of our pudding. All right, I'm just going to even this out. Don't go over the crust line. That way we can cover the pie with the lid. Doesn't that look scrumptious? The third layer, we're going to add Cool Whip, another 4 ounces to the top of the pie, and just kind of dollop it around. You don't want to kind of smear it because then it'll go into our second layer there. You don't want to do that. So we're just going to dollop it around. Obviously that was probably more than 4 ounces. I'm going to take my spoon and I'm just going to give it some peaks. Make it look pretty. I'm going to place some mini chocolate chips all over the top. That was our 5th ingredient. It can be optional because you can put all kinds of toppings on this. I'm going to place this in the refrigerator. We want this to set up for about 30 minutes to an hour. I am ready to show you how to make a pecan cheesecake pie. This is a mashup between a pecan pie and a cheesecake, and it's so easy to make. This recipe was given to me by one of my friends, Tanya. Hi, Tanya. The first thing we're going to need is a 9-inch pie crust. This came out of the freezer section of our store, and it comes in like a package of 2. So I just took this out of the freezer and I just thawed it out. We're going to make the cheesecake mixture. I'm just going to use a medium bowl and we're going to place 8 ounces of cream cheese. You want to make sure that this is room temperature and very soft. I'm just going to use an electric hand mixer. I'm going to beat the cream cheese until it's nice and smooth. We're going to beat in 1 egg. Quarter cup of white granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And extra is always good. Blend this all together. Just take a spatula, pull down the sides. We're going to beat this one more time until it's nice and smooth and all well combined. All right, we've got a nice smooth consistency here. We're going to take the beaten cream cheese mixture and we're going to put it into the bottom of our uncooked pie crust. We're just going to smooth nice and even. Okay, we're going to take some crushed pecans and we're going to place 1 cup and spread them over the cheesecake mixture. Nice and even. Okay, we're going to set this off to the side and we're going to bring over another medium bowl. Now we're going to make the pecan pie mixture. We're going to crack 3 eggs into our bowl. We're going to beat the eggs until they're nice and smooth. I'm just going to take a measuring cup. It's 1 cup. I'm just going to lightly spray it. Measure out our corn syrup. Now what that's going to do is help release that corn syrup out of our measuring cup. Then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Make sure that you pack it into your measuring cup. We're going to blend this all together. We're going to bring the crust back over that has the cream cheese mixture and the pecans in it. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and pour that pecan pie mixture over the pecans. Carefully place this onto a sheet pan. Now just line the sheet pan with some parchment, or you can even do some foil. It's just to keep any drips from getting on the pan for extra cleanup. I'm going to place this in the oven that's been preheating at 375 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes until the pie is set. You want to make sure that if you jiggle your pie, it's not moving in the center. Okay, I've pulled the pie out of the oven and I've placed it on a cooling rack. You can tell that it is very set, so it is not jiggly in the center, which is what we're looking for, but it looks amazing. Okay, the pie is cooled down completely. We're going to go ahead and cut a slice out. Pecan cheesecake pie. It is time to make an apple pie. Now I've got a large bowl sitting over here. I'm going to fill it up with some water. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. So let's go ahead and start coring and peeling our apples. And I'm just peeling off all of the skin that I can get to. These are Gala apples. You can use Granny Smith apples, but we find those a little too tart for us, and so we use the Gala apples. It's a good baking apple. Now I'm just going to take my core and go all the way down to the bottom through the apple. Cut our apple in half. Slice these apples really thin. Okay, so my pie is a double crusted pie, and I love to use this refrigerated pie crust. So what you do is you pull it out of your refrigerator about 5 to 10 minutes before you need to roll it out into your 9-inch deep dish pie plate. All right, when you unroll it, just place it into your pie plate. Let's go ahead now and make our pie filling. I've taken my apples out of the salted water and I dried them really good before I put them in the bowl here. Now we do have 6 cups of sliced apples. We're going to add 3/4 cup of sugar. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon of some salt, 1 tablespoon of some lemon juice that I freshly squeezed. And then we're going to put 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon And I've got some nutmeg here, and we're gonna put 1/8 of a teaspoon right here. We're gonna mix this all together. So let's go ahead and we're going to bring our pie crust back over here. Let's add our apples. All right, I'm going to start unrolling my second pie sheet, and then what we're going to do is take the edging of our top pie crust and we're going to kind of put it over and under that bottom pie crust. Take a knife and I'm going to cut 4 small holes in the center. What I have here is an egg wash, and I just beat together 1 egg and a little bit of water, and I'm just going to take my pastry brush here and I'm just going to coat the top of my pie crust here. All right, what we're going to do now to finish this off is to add some sugar, just a light coating of sugar on top of the pie here. Okay, our apple pie is ready to go into the oven that's been preheating at 425 degrees. Now it will go in for about 40 to 45 minutes. When your crust gets to the color that you desire, like a nice golden brown, you can actually tint some tin foil over this, okay, so your crust doesn't get too brown. I am making a sweet potato pie. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make homemade sweet potatoes to use in our pie. Now I have a bag of sweet potatoes. All right, I'm just scrubbing these potatoes off really good. And then we're going to take our clean towel here and dry it off. Before we lay them on the parchment paper, what we're going to do is just take a fork and we're just going to stab the potato a few times, about midway, about 3 or 4 times. Place these in our oven at 425 degrees and allow this to cook for about 40 to 50 minutes. Well, we want these potatoes to be nice and soft. All right, so the potatoes are out of the oven and I've cooled them down a little bit so I can handle them. They're very soft on the inside, so what I'm going to do is just peel the skin off and then we're going to place it in the bowl. When you do potatoes this way for a sweet potato pie, guys, they get so flavorful like that. Okay, so I've got a masher here and I'm just going to mash all of the sweet potatoes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take out what I need for my sweet potato pie and then store the rest in the refrigerator until I use it for my next recipe. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and blend our seasonings together. Now we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of ground clove. We're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. And then we're going to do a full teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And then we're just going to mix that together. In a large bowl, we're going to add 2 eggs. I've already got 1 in there. There's the second one. Now what we're going to do is beat this together with an electric hand mixer until it's nice and smooth. We're going to add 2 cups of sweet potatoes that I had baked in the oven and peeled, and we're going to place that into our bowl with the eggs that we've just beaten. Now, sweet potato pie is almost like making a pumpkin pie, other than you're just using the sweet potatoes instead of the pumpkin. And there's going to be a difference in one ingredient that I'm going to show you on how I usually make a pumpkin pie. So here goes my 2 cups. Now we're going to go ahead and blend that. So the next ingredient is going to be 1 can, which is 14 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. This is replacing the sugar. That is the special ingredient that we are putting in. Now we're going to add 1 cup of evaporated milk. I'm going to add a cup. Okay, and then we're going to do our spice blend here. We're going to mix this all together. There we go. Let's go ahead and bring our pie dish over here, and then I'm going to place our pie dough into it. Preheat your oven to 425 degrees. Kind of like a pumpkin pie, we're going to set it high, and then we're going to change that temperature. So what we're going to start off with is a 9-inch deep dish pie plate. I'm just using the refrigerated pie dough. It makes a beautiful pie crust, and it tastes really good, and it works really well too. I have no problems getting this out of the pie plate after we bake the pie. So have these refrigerated. You can pull it out about 10 minutes or so before you're ready to use it. Push it all the way down to the bottom, and then you can make your little design. All right, so just like that. Now what we're gonna do is pour our sweet potato pie mixture into the crust here. This is ready to go into our oven that's been preheating at 425 degrees. We're gonna set it in there for about 15 minutes, and then we're gonna lower the temperature to 350 degrees for about 35 to 45 minutes. Now take a look at it about 20 or 25 minutes into it. If your crust is starting to get done before the pie is done, then you can use like a pie ring, which I have right here, and just lay it across the crust. Or you can get some tin foil and just make a little circle of it in the shape of a ring here, and you can lay that across the crust also to keep the crust from getting dark. My pie is ready. We've had to wait 2 hours to allow this thing to cool completely and set. Today I'm going to show you how to make Maryland's blueberry banana pie. A cool, refreshing, very delicious dessert. All right, I've brought one crust to room temperature. Now I'm just using the Pillsbury pie crust. I'm going to be cooking this per the instructions on the back of the package. I'm going to be using a 9-inch baking dish. I'm not going to be greasing the baking dish here. There's a lot of shortening in pie crust. So now that I brought it to room temperature, it's really easy to roll out. Now it's been sitting out for 20 minutes. Push it down all the way to the edge, and then just push it up against the sides. I'm going to take a fork and you're going to prick all over the bottom and the sides of your pie crust. Poke a lot of holes. This will keep your pie crust from shrinking in. Now if you want to make it look pretty, you can just go around and trim. We're going to bake this in our preheated oven at 450 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes or until lightly browned. Okay, I've just pulled this out of the oven. We're going to allow it to cool completely. First thing we're going to do is make our whipped topping. Now I'm using Dream Whip per the instructions. Now, you just want one package out of here. We're going to add half a cup of cold milk, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, I'm just going to take my electric hand mixer. I'm going to beat this until we get nice soft peaks. Now, it should take about 5 to 6 minutes. All right, that's soft peaks. So it should give you that consistency right here. What we're going to do now is add our cream cheese that we brought to room temperature. Now mine's very, very soft. This is 8 ounces. I think I'm just going to take a knife and just kind of break it off into here. There we go. And then we're going to add half a cup of white granulated sugar. We're just going to combine this again with the hand mixer until it's just well combined. That's it. All right, we have a really creamy consistency. I'm gonna put some plastic wrap over it. I'm just gonna pop it into the refrigerator. It won't be very long. Okay, I've got my cooled it down pie crust, and I've got some bananas over here. I'm just gonna peel them. We're gonna slice these bananas. There's 3 of them, and we're gonna put them all on the bottom of our pie crust. Maryland's blueberry banana pie. I was at my brother's house one day. They were talking about this pie. My sister-in-law was raving about this pie. She gave me this recipe, and she had to ask her sister-in-law, whose mother is Marilyn and makes this pie. Now she made it for all occasions and people love this. And so when she said that, I knew I had to make this pie for you guys. That's where this came from. So I want to thank Marilyn for allowing me to make this recipe. There we go, 1 layer of bananas. To keep the bananas nice and fresh in our pie, I've got some lemon juice. Now you can squeeze some fresh lemon juice, or I just have a little bottle of it here and I'm going to squeeze it over the lemons, and that will keep them from turning brown and keep them fresher. Just enough to cover the bananas. And I'm just going to take a pastry brush and just kind of brush it on them fully. There we go. I'll give it a nice little lemon flavor. I've pulled my whipped topping out of the refrigerator. Was just keeping nice and chilled in there while I was doing the bananas. So now what we're going to do is pour this all over the bananas. Okay, I'm just going to spread evenly. Now I want to make sure that we see that pie crust, so don't go over the pie crust. Okay, so I hope I'm doing Marilyn's recipe justice here. I've got my blueberry pie filling that was chilled in the refrigerator, and I'm just going to start kind of in the center. And we want to stay about 1 inch away from the edge all the way around so we can get that pretty dream whip look around that. I will also want to thank my sister-in-law Donna, because without her I would have never known about this recipe, and I am super excited about this one. It's so easy. We're going to chill this in the refrigerator until the Dream Whip mixture and the pie filling set up. Okay, we just took it out of the refrigerator. We've let it set up for 4 hours.
All right, let me know which pie was your favorite. Which pie are you going to put on your Thanksgiving table? If you have recipes, let us know. All right, give me a thumbs up on this one. Make sure you comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and that bell notification. That way you'll always know when my videos are posted. Me and my family wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving.